Hello and welcome to the Business of Yoga webinar. This is like a discovery call, I guess. In this webinar, you're going to learn a lot more about the business of yoga, my experience with business and setting myself up, and all the different channels that I've moved through to get to where I am in this position right now, where I make this my full-time career. So I'm going to share little insights with you as we go, and then we're going to do a deep dive into the actual course, which launches on Monday, the 17th. Honestly, this course has taken me so long to write. I initially started writing this course 2.5 years ago, and I know that for sure because this is going to sound a little morbid, but I don't want it to. I'm just going to be honest with you. So my dad passed away 2.5 years ago, and I guess instead of having the normal response, I just went into a different place in my mind, and I was just like, I need to focus on something else. Business of yoga. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell everybody how I've done this, because me and my dad did it a lot when we were first setting up the studios and things. And I just really plowed myself into writing this course. Then I guess life just really takes over. I had a baby. Obviously, he's just turned one. And then I started writing again probably about 6 months ago, and then I completed the course. So it's been a pretty long process of ebbs and flows of writing it, but it's finally ready, and we are so excited to launch this next Monday. So if you stay until the end of the call, I'm going to give you a discount code to use if you are wanting to sign up for the course. But let's get into the business of yoga and how I kind of got started and things like that. Before I do, guys, just say hi to Tony, because she's here too. She's big on my screen as well. Tony's a student mentor, if you don't already know that. And Tony's career is also now in yoga full time as well. Okie dokies. So let's get going with my experience, my journey into yoga. So my path into yoga, I didn't set out to be a yoga teacher, honestly. I tried to do other different things with my life. So I did pretty well at school, did A levels. I was always really good at art, and I was good at PE as well. So when I left school, I was kind of a bit unsure what I would do. So I straight away went to uni and did an interior design course, 3 years. Didn't do anything with that, although my home looks pretty nice. Then I went a year after, went back to uni and studied sport. I was in between doing architecture and sport. And at that time, I mean, we're talking like 12 years ago now. I remember one of the tutors putting me off by telling me that I would be the only woman on the course. And also, it's much harder for women to make it as a designer and someone who does architecture. And that really put me off. Definitely wouldn't put me off now. I would be inspired by that challenge, although things have obviously changed a lot, haven't they? But anyways, it kind of just pushed me into doing sport instead. So I studied biomechanics and anatomy and physiology. And then I got a first at uni when I did that. I've got no idea how. I got a first, and then I got a bursary to continue my studies. And did a PGCE. So I actually trained to be a secondary school PE teacher. And you know what? Honestly, I did it because my best friend at the time was a PE teacher already. And I kind of just followed along with that. And being a teacher is a great job. Many people love to do that. And it's a great career. We're always going to need teachers, aren't we? And just kind of thought about the salary, kind of thought about consistency, and I kind of fell into it. And then especially because I was given that £9,000 bursary to continue, I just kind of went with it, and it didn't make me happy at all. And I remember just feeling so depressed. And I've obviously spoken about my journey with depression and anxiety and things like that. And just one day, so I'd studied now for 6-7 years at uni, and still was completely clueless about what I was going to do. And I just did not feel in alignment, because I was trying to be somebody else. I was trying to do something else. And I saw somebody else being happy and succeeding in life. And I just thought, that's what I need to do as well. But I was teaching yoga as well, maybe just once or twice a week. I trained to be a yoga teacher when I was 16. So that was 2005. 2005, 2004. I forget the maths. I try to forget the maths. Trained when I was 16 to be a yoga teacher, and then I just used to teach once or twice a week. But I always kind of found joy when I taught yoga. I think as a human being, if you guys ever have like sit down and have coffee with me, I'm actually not a super confident person. Obviously when I'm on here, this is my work, this is what I do, this is what I've trained myself to do, so I almost embody like a whole new personality that is like so energetic, and I do have a lot of energy. It's just that I'm not an extrovert. I'm definitely an introvert, but I have ways of becoming an extrovert. And I do that because I really hone in on my craft, and that is yoga, and that's teaching about business and everything to do with business. That really excites me. So I did the finished the PGCE, did like 6 months of being a secondary school PE teacher, had a huge breakdown, and then I just quit everything. And I feel like I almost quit life really, because the COVID situation with the lockdown, that was my life. That's what I chose to do. Like I didn't want to leave the house. I felt that anxious and that out of alignment that I had no idea what I was doing with my life. Um, this all sounds very, very stressful and very upsetting, isn't it? I want to inspire you, so hopefully I do, and I hope I've not made you cry so far or reach for that glass of wine. Uh, Anyways, it does have a happy ending, obviously, which is why we're here. I quit absolutely everything, quit life for about 3 or 4 months, barely left the house, pulled myself together with yoga and with therapy. And then I approached my dad, he was a builder. And I said, you know what, Dad, I really just want to teach yoga. Even if I just have one or two people come, like I need to find my happiness. I need to find myself again, or at least I need to discover this new version of myself now, because I'm not finding happiness in anything else that I'm doing. Um, and he did. Oh gosh, he was an amazing man. And he did. And we had so much fun creating the studio. At the time, he had just bought a community centre. So he used to just buy land and then build houses. So he bought this community centre, which was so old. Like the electrics and things were the other side of the room of this massive hall. And my dad was a bit of a prankster as well. So sometimes he would just show up at the end of classes once the studio had opened, and he knew that I had to turn the lights off at literally the other side of the hall. I'd turn the lights off and I would be like, oh my god, it's pitch black. He would lie on the floor and just grab my ankles as I walked past. He was horrible, horrendous, horrible. But we had so much fun doing the studio. The first week we opened, we had queues out of the door, literally turning people away. There are quite a few angry customers. I call them grumpy customers, because they had showed up, they wanted to come to class, I just could not fit them in. So after a week, maybe 2 weeks max, I asked my dad to make the studio bigger, and he did. So at that point we could have 55 people. I was still inundated, but at that time I had so much energy. Facebook wasn't really a thing, Instagram wasn't really a thing. I was just growing it organically. I would stand in the middle of a square in town, hand out leaflets. I'd stand on the end of the road just with like a board sign. Have you seen those guys that have like a pizza sign on them or something? I had no shame, because I was so excited to make this my career, and I would have done anything to make it work, and obviously it did work. So I fast forward 3 years after that, my dad then needed the land to build houses. Obviously, that's what he bought it for. So then we moved the studio over to the Canaquan, and I still own the Canaquan, Eden Hot Yoga. We opened Litchfield at the same time as well. Pretty stressful having two. Then I realized that a yoga studio was closing down. So I bought a third one. So very stressful owning three. And then my sister came into the company as well. She does all the accounts and things, are very different to my role. And then we had four. We bought another one too, which is absolutely crazy. And I'm probably going to be the first to say, definitely don't recommend owning four yoga studios. It takes a lot, and when you want to build a community, then you have to be there and just be the heart of the whole thing. And then where's that now? So that was 2013 that I opened that first studio, and then owning four. Then we set up a yoga retreats business. Obviously, at this point, we started to employ other people too. Um, and then more recently, so 4 years ago, we launched yogacourse.com. Have you heard of that? Have you heard of yogacourse.com? Maybe. It's this online school. It's amazing. It is full of incredible people like you guys. And it's something that I am just so beyond proud of what we have achieved with that. We were the pioneers of it. And the idea genuinely came to me in a meditation. And I was doing face-to-face teacher training at the time and just realized there was a huge gap in the market. And when you realize that, you've really just got to push forwards. All that resistance that I had, genuinely, I had death threats being sent to me through the post, email. People were just not on board. And it was coming from other yoga teachers and especially other people that delivered teacher training because they were just not happy that I was putting everything online. This was before the pandemic, so it wasn't because of the pandemic. I actually started writing 2 years to write the 200-hour course, and even longer to get it pushed through Yoga Alliance International. Honestly, there was so much resistance. But then as soon as the pandemic came, everybody kind of jumped on board and all of a sudden they were happy with online training. I wonder why. Anyway, so that's kind of my journey into it. I bootstrapped the 4 yoga studios by myself. I didn't get a handout from my dad. He obviously helped me with his time and his experience, but I definitely didn't get like a huge loan from him. My dad has always taught me the value of money. That's kind of how I grew up. So I wasn't just given things. I had to work for them. I actually started working when I was 13 on a market. And I've worked the whole of my life and I really do enjoy working. So I didn't have like a huge handout at all, I promise you. Bootstrap the whole thing. And then it's just something that I absolutely love. So now I'm in the position to share all of these expertise with you, just so you guys shave off your time, money, and your energy so you know where to not invest in that because I can just save you so much time. Yeah, so that's kind of my story into becoming where I am now and how we kind of made yogacourse.com, how we've created yoga studios and how we can run yoga retreats. If you guys don't know already, we're hosting a yoga retreat in Bali next year, which is just amazing. We still have a few spaces on that if you want to join us. Okay, plugging everything on this. I feel like I'm allowed to talk about money in this. I feel like I'm allowed to talk about strategies and allowed to plug everything because this is a business webinar, isn't it? Sometimes talking about money and yoga, it's kind of like the elephant in the room. Not many people like to talk about it, but you know what? It makes the world go round. And just because we teach yoga doesn't mean that we should give everything away for free. A lot of people will want that from you, but you have trained so hard to become a yoga teacher. You have put in the effort. You have spent money to become a yoga teacher. You definitely more than deserve everything that you can create. And you shouldn't be ashamed to say that you want to make money or you want to make this your career or you need it to pay rent or anything like that. You shouldn't be ashamed to say that. Has that brought about any questions for anybody so far? Please just unmute yourself if you have a question. You? Okay, I have happy customers so far, not grumpy custies, which is great. So let me show you the inside of the course then. So like I said, this is going to launch on Monday the 17th. This course is going to be very different to what you have already experienced. If you've reached that stage of your 200 or perhaps your 300, I know that we have some 300 students here. It's going to be completely different. Obviously, this is all about business. So let me just show you the inside of the course. I'll put it up on the back end. Just bring it across. All right, here we go. So it's going to look very similar to the layout of the 200 hours, sorry, and the 300 hours. But obviously this one is tailored to business. I am literally going to give you the blueprint. I'm going to go from A to Z. We start in the initial idea stage. So if you're at the point right now where you're thinking to yourself, I would love to make yoga my career, I've got no idea how, I've got no idea when and how to do it. If you're in that position, this course is going to help you. Likewise, if you're in the position where you're thinking, I want to create a yoga retreat business. I want to do a yoga retreat. I want to do 5 yoga retreats a year. I'm going to make that my career. I just don't have the audience to sell to. How do I get my product and my service out there? This course is for you. Okay. So whether you have a service-based product, a service-based business, or you have a product-based business, this course is going to be for you. And you can pivot. Just know that just because you decided that you want your own yoga retreat business doesn't mean that you always have to do that. You could have a yoga retreat business and sell yoga mats on the side. You can do it like that too. And you can pivot as many times as you want to and however that you want to. This course is obviously going to be for absolutely everybody, especially if your niche is going to be yoga, because you could go to business school, you could sit there in, I don't know, like a stuffy, smelly classroom, but it's never going to be tailored towards yoga. The way that you speak to people who are interested in yoga is very different to how you would talk to somebody if I was selling these earbuds, for example. The language would be different, your customers are very different, and your approach will be very different. I'll stop sharing just for a second. When we think about yoga, it is a very community focused, it's a nurturing thing to do. We don't really want to be going in with super strong language, like hardcore selling. We think about car sales and do the absolute opposite of that. We want to go in very gently. We want to nurture the clients. We want to take them through a funnel that's called the know, like, trust funnel. Then we can sell to them. We spend 80% of our time creating content for free. That is good information for our clients, our ideal clients, once we figure out who they are, of course. Then we take them through that funnel. So if you haven't heard of the Know Like Trust funnel, it is so important. We go into a lot of detail when it comes to this course, and you're going to tailor it so it's so specific to you, your niche, your service, your product, whatever it is that you want to create. There's worksheets in there. There's work for you to do. I'm going to give you advice, but you need to really hone in and make it so specific to you. Okay, so the Know Like Trust funnel. So imagine driving down a motorway and there's a big billboard, right? You see the big billboard, this huge advertisement, and if they've got it right, you're going to remember it. Perhaps an hour later, you go onto Instagram or whatever social platform and you try to find them, right? Once you're on that platform of Instagram, that's borrowed land. You don't own Instagram. The moment that they're on Instagram, I consider that as a handshake. This is just an example. There's many ways that you can find clients, but I'll just give you an example. Instagram is the handshake. It's where people get to know you, they get to like you. Your aim is to get them off that platform and onto an email list, which is something that you own. You're going to be able to contact those people and drive the right information towards that customer, depending on what they're asking for, what they're wanting from you. So if Mark Zuckerberg turned around tomorrow and said, Instagram is no more, but you've been really working hard on building up your clients and your following on Instagram, but you've never got them off that and onto a landing page, or at least onto your email list, you're never going to be able to contact them again. So just think about that. It's so important to build your brand awareness and get people to know you, to like you. Once they know you, they like you, then they're going to start to trust you. At that point, that's when you can exchange something for an email address. That email address is like gold, right? So just think about the way that you've landed on this call tonight. Just think about the way that you decided to join us on Yoga Teacher Training. There's going to be different ways that we spoke to you and different ways that we've resonated with you, and you've learned about us, so you know us, you like what we do, obviously, or else you wouldn't be here. And then you've trusted us enough to give us your email address and also sign up to the course. So you have literally trusted us to give you that knowledge to make you a yoga teacher. And in this moment right here, you're trusting me right now to give you the information that I know about the business so that you can do something with that for yourself as well. Okay, so the end goal is always bring them onto that email list. Once you find out what that customer wants from you, you can then create specific ebooks, or you could create copy. So when I talk about copy, it just simply means writing newsletters. You can create products that are tailored towards them, services that are tailored towards them, so that you are literally serving them, which is obviously what we want to do, and then create loyal raving fans. Let me give you another example. So when somebody comes to the yoga studio, they have a medical form to fill out. On that form, it's where did you hear about us and what's your reason for being here? So, for example, if someone was to fill out that form and say, I found you on Instagram, but I'm really here because of mental health. I want to work through the stress and anxiety that I have, right? If I have that information, I can then store that client somewhere in a segment or something like that. I can put them in like a little group, and then I can tailor my products and my services towards them because I have that information. I know what they want. So next time I do a relaxing class, or next time I do a mindful retreat or a meditation workshop, I know that they're coming because they want to work on mental health and stress. So the products that I create are informed by the information that I'm getting back from my customers, right? So then next time I have those things going on, I can say to myself, I'm going to drive that information towards my ideal client for that particular product. And then I know that I'm going to sell that product to them. Okay. Those are just little examples. Let's get back into the actual course anyway. Woo. Here we go. Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, amazing. Right, so just scan your eyes along the left-hand side for all the subheadings. So like I say, we start from scratch, A to Z. We have to start there. So we go through SWOT analysis. Maybe you've heard of that: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We are all good at some things, but if you're sitting there thinking, I'm good at absolutely everything, then business is really going to give you a kick in the bottom, because you are going to have things that you are great at, and I call these superpowers, right? So one of my superpowers is being able to disarm people. I'm actually quite good at working the room, if you've heard of that type of thing before. So I'm great at chatting. I like to disarm people and make them feel comfortable around me as well, and I usually do that because I'm pretty much open. Like at the very start of this, obviously, I started sharing personal things about myself, and I'm really happy to do that. I'm like an open book, and some people will find that really warming, and almost like the guard is down and we're on that same level now, which we are. So that's one of my superpowers, is the ability to talk and disarm people and make them feel comfortable. But we're all going to have different superpowers. So maybe you're really good at copywriting, perhaps you're a logo junkie, maybe you're great at designing websites, maybe you are articulate, maybe you can find positive things in a stressful situation, and maybe you're good with numbers. There's so many things that you're going to be good at, and I'm going to help you draw them out. So if you're thinking right now, I'm actually not good at anything, please don't think that, because you absolutely are. And we're going to work through that so that you will literally define what your superpowers are. And then I'm going to help you to stick in your lane and work with other people that have opposite superpowers to you. So like when I joined with my sister in business, she is numbers and accounts. She's an accountant. I am the opposite. She doesn't even give me a bank card. That's true. I'm not very good with numbers, but I'm really good at like visual things and teaching yoga, and she's not good at teaching yoga. So it's about finding your lane, sticking in the lane, spending your time and your energy on things that you're good at, and then sourcing other people around you, making those connections, and just basically finding other people that have different superpowers to you. So we're going to work with that first. We're going to work on you first, then we start to build your business. We're going to work on peak products, minimal viable products as well, MVP. That is the minimum that you create to get your product out there. The 200-hour course that you see and love right now, I promise you that is not what it looked like at the start. So we put out a really small mini course, a minimal viable product. We checked that it worked. We did lots of A/B testing, split testing, checked that the actual product worked before we then invested in it and spend a ton of money on the things that we did, like our website and our domain name and all the things like that. We made sure that there was a need for it. Whenever you think about business, you are solving people's problems. Okay. So whether that's a yoga studio in your area, whether that's a retreat, you might think to yourself, what problem am I solving by hosting a yoga retreat? I promise you are solving problems. The things that you put out there can't just be like a small gripe that you have. It needs to be things that other people are experiencing trouble with, or something that will enhance somebody's life, and you can make a really good solid business from that. Okay. I actually have this idea. Feel free to steal it if you want to. I'm not gonna do it. But do you know, like, I'm showing my ideas now. Sun cream. Okay. So more recently I've had a mole removed off my back, and it kind of gave me this wake-up call for sunbathing. So I kind of thought about creating like a big machine that was, has anyone ever had like a spray tan done? And it sprays you. Have you seen that Friends episode where Ross gets it so wrong, and he has like he's got like a five all over all over the one side, but it sprays him. So what about a machine that sprayed you with sun cream, and you had like a timer, and you had to go back every 2 hours or 3 hours, or maybe get like a once a day thing. But these could be situated in parts of the beach, and you could pay, I don't know, like £2 to have your whole self loads of sun cream. I think of ideas. I probably have like 20 ideas a day, promise you. But if it's a problem and it solves a problem or makes someone's life easier or enhances somebody's life, it's going to be a great business, providing that it's not already saturated. Anyway, going back. Here we go. Module 2, then we find the ideal client, we find ways to engage with your brand, we seek out the competition that we have and ways to get around that. Then we go into brand identity, brand voice, brand visuals. Let me give you an example about brand voice. So if you were to show up for coffee with your best friend, and we'll just call her a she, and she was a different person every time that you sat down with her, and she sounded different and she looked different and she spoke about different things, you would kind of feel a little bit confused, like, what version of Rachel am I going to get today? Right? You need to think about this when you create your own business too. Everything has to sound the same, everything has to look the same. So basically you're not showing up as a different version of you or your business, whether it's on socials, email, website, speaking to people, doing webinars like this. Everything has to sound the same so that you build that know, like, trust factor, right? If you show up as somebody different every time, there's no trust going to be built. People are going to be confused. Think about Starbucks, right? They don't do the best coffee in the world, which is a little controversial, but you know exactly what you're going to get. You know exactly what the brand looks like. You could probably pick it up from like a mile off. The colors are the same, logo is the same, branding is the same. It's the same elevator music in there. You're going to get the same coffee, whether you're in Toronto or Paris. It's going to be the same. They show up consistently, and that's how they can build their know, like, trust with their customers and keep their loyal fans, because people know what they're buying into, right? You also want to do that when it comes to your whatever you want to do, your classes, your retreats. If you want to own a yoga studio, if you want to do corporate yoga, if you want to sell yoga mats or candles, or I don't know, create your own online courses. There's so many things that you can do, but you really have to show up consistently for that, for you to build that know, like, trust with your clients. Okay. Of course, we go into brand visuals. I'm going to give you a huge walkthrough using the tools that we use, like Canva, Wix. If you've heard of Wix before, which is a website designer, I've created both websites, So Eden Hot Yoga is one that I've designed in Wix and I literally keep on top of by myself. And I'm not a website designer. Also, yogacourse.com is a very different type of website. So I don't recommend that you go off and hire somebody. You can do this quite easily by yourself using Squarespace or WordPress or Wix. I'm going to give you a big show round. I'm going to literally show you exactly what to do to build your own website or landing page. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But if you're going into online courses or something like Yoga Course, then you might need something that has a few more bells and whistles on. Of course, we go into that in the course and I tell you exactly what to do, how to say it, and obviously I share with you who we use as our designers as well. Then we go into marketing 101, storytelling, content creation, batch creating, email nurturing, designing your own website, how to create images and social posts. Then we go into customer experience. The customer should be at the heart of absolutely everything that you do. I don't call it customer service, I call it customer experience, because customer service sounds great, but it's just like a transaction type thing. Whereas customer experience means, in my mind, that you are embodying the whole entire experience that your customer is having. It goes way beyond just delivering a service. It's above and beyond. And that's how you keep people returning. You create these loyal customers that keep on coming back and buying more and more things from you. You guys are a great example of that, because you're here on this discovery call, you're learning more about another course that I've created. So it's about that experience that you give your clients to make them want to come back, and also how they can help you to grow your business through word of mouth and through the marketing that they can do that you don't actually have to pay for. Then we go into Instagram. Instagram is definitely my jam. Also applies to Facebook. Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same platforms. I've recently joined Threads. Have you guys joined Threads too? Have you heard about Threads? No? Okay. So Threads is Mark Zuckerberg's version of Twitter. So taken on Elon Musk, basically. And yeah, it is quite good. Twitter is not 100% for me. So I don't know if Threads is my thing, but it's this new platform anyway. So as soon as the new platform comes out, you can grow quite quickly because of the algorithm. But we're going to algorithm with Instagram that changes constantly. We're going to content for Instagram, creating reels, growing your community, where you can find inspiration from, things that you shouldn't do, because it will stop your posts and your reels and stories being seen. So there's things that you can do that can really damage the way that you show up on Instagram and your growth on Instagram. And then finally, we're going to email nurturing as well. And I'm going to help you to build your email list so that you actually have eager, ready clients to launch your product and your service to. So within that, we go into the sign-up forms and confirmation, landing page. I'll give you a big show around of Flowdesk, which is the platform that we use. You can literally automate absolutely everything on there. So you can batch create, save yourself a ton of time, but you can create workflows on there. So if somebody opts into the business call like you did, you guys are now in a segment, and then we can create workflows based on that segment. We can send emails to you at certain times and certain days. And then if somebody hasn't opened an email, then we can resend to the people that haven't opened emails. There's just so many things that you can do now that I'm going to show you on this course to save you your time, your energy, and most importantly, your money. So let me stop sharing, have a little swig. Okay, has that brought about any questions for you guys? Please let me know.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I did turn my camera off because it's like the kids' bedtime. So I've got my earphones in, so I've listened to everything. I've been jobbing about.
I feel you.
Yeah, you know now, don't you? You know what it's
Yeah.
like.
Life.
So my question is, so I've recently, like February this year, done done like a business course, yoga for business.
Yeah.
Before I knew this course was getting launched, I'll just put it out there. And actually paid quite a bit of money for it.
Yeah.
And it was like quite an intensive one to be done within like a quite a short time. Anyway, that aside, so I've learned about a lot of the things that you were just talking about. Like I've got a mailing list with MailChimp, and I set out scheduled emails, weekly emails. I've learned about like the business funnel, know, like, trust. I schedule like content on Facebook and Instagram. But that said, I still think that there's value in doing a course where it's somebody that you're familiar with, because knowing yoga course the way I do, it does go into an awful lot of detail. And I think when you do an intensive course, there's still things that you can miss. And although I've still got access to the content of that course, you don't kind of get the hand holding and the support that you do through yoga course. So I've got two questions. I'm about, which you'll find out about soon. I'll tell you about it soon. But I'm about to go into a big launch for something. So I'm going to be really busy. So the first question is, do you agree, and do you think it's worth my while doing this course? Because I'm willing to invest if you think it's still worth my while. And then the second one is, if I go ahead, I know we've done this in the past, would I be able to like get the discount code, book it, obviously either pay for the course or pay a deposit, and then start after I've done this launch? Because I just think I'm probably going to be too busy.
Yeah, of course you can. So you've been with us from like day dot. We've taken you all the way through, haven't we?
Yeah.
So there is so much power in knowing who you're training with, and especially if they're willing to share that journey with you as well, and they've been there, done that, and you know that they have something else to offer, and they inspire you in different ways. So we really do pride ourselves on our customer service. It is the most important thing that we do. We show up every single day for our students, so you know how much nurturing that you will get from us. And I'm not sure what other course that you did, and it doesn't even matter who it was with, but I just know that this course is going to be something that really can elevate and catapult you and enhance what you already have. Because sometimes someone can explain something in a different way. Sometimes we just go into a little bit more depth. Sometimes it is just the timing of when you're hearing that little nugget of information. So it definitely will have value for you, 100%, million percent. And especially because we already have that relationship. We're already friends, aren't we? And we already obviously work together during this too. So we're just going to deep dive pretty much straight away. And if you have a specific question, you know that you can ask, and we can definitely help you out that way. So no matter how much Googling you've done, no matter if you've done a different course, this course is very special because it's laid out in the way that it is. There's loads of worksheets and things that you work through. So it's not just like, I'm telling you to do an email list and you need to do this and this and this. We literally go into so much depth about what you need to do, Lisa, not what Tracy needs to do for her business, or not what Carver needs to do, what you need to do, what's going to help you. And that probably is going to be the big difference, and how we can help you as well.
Great. Thank you. That answers my questions. Thank you.
Good. I would be so excited to work with you, and also know what you're launching very soon. It's all very secretive, but let me know when you're ready. And I will. With you. That'd be amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Can I ask, would it be sort of similar to, obviously you do the webinars and stuff now on the 200, 300 hour courses?
Yeah.
So would there be more, would there still be that sort of face-to-face through video element to things?
Yeah, but it's going to be more of like once a month as a community, but then on a one-to-one basis. Because do you know what? Chloe, your business is going to be like completely different to everybody else's. You might, all of you might want to teach yoga, right? But it's the way that you show up, it's your personality, it's who you are, it's what you say, it's what you do. Two companies could have an equally exceptional white t-shirt, but it's how they show up, how they serve. That's what's going to make the difference, right? They're both great products. Everyone's going to be a great yoga teacher because you guys have done yoga course, but it's how we can tailor that and make that so specific to you. And that wouldn't be exactly the same as anybody else's here. So if you have a specific question, it's going to be on a one-to-one basis. But we're going to have like a group community. We'll have a Facebook group that's separate. So you guys, all entrepreneurs, are going to inspire each other and share things. That's going to be different to the 200-hour course because we're talking about business here, completely different. And building on our skills together and inspiring each other together. But if there is like specific questions, then I'm here to tutor all of you through that.
Brilliant. So it'd be kind of like when you're at uni, you have your seminars and then you have your one-to-one with your tutor.
With your tutor, exactly that.
That was kind of what I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Tracy, did you do a little tiny wave? Where have you gone?
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
How are you? Okay.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm very good. Yeah. I was going to ask time-wise because I'm currently doing my 300 hours.
Yeah.
But also like running my business now. Like I left my job, blah blah. I'm trying to
Amazing.
just do all that.
You're taking on the world.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would this course be like too much to do if I'm doing the 300 as well? Like how much more work's involved? I know like it's down to me to sort of work out my schedule and stuff, but obviously I still do have kids and
have kids.
Well,
yeah.
One's more self-sufficient now. He's like nearly 17, but like
yeah,
it's just trying to figure out whether this is going to be like as intense, not as intense, but like time wise, like how much kind of stuff, because obviously I've been doing my business, but I still feel like there's area I'm not sure of, and I already got a website, but I don't know if it's any good. Like there's things I know that
I can have a look for you.
Obviously like just I still really feel like I'm still trying to find my feet, and I don't want to take on like too much more studying and stuff. So I don't know what I'm rambling on again as usual.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. The simple answer to that is it's going to save you time doing a business course, because we're gonna fast track through all the rubbishy parts where you're finding your feet. So if you learn these things now, you can start to implement them and start to grow your business, and it's going to save you time. I promise you. It's going to cut out all the rubbish where you Google how to get started, or how do I attract more clients, or how do I build a community. It takes out all of that because you'll know exactly what to do and when to do. So I always suggest I know that you have your business right now, but I always suggest to not get to the end of your 200 hours and then think about business. You need to weave it in all the way through, so that when you've finished your 300, you've already done 200. Once you finish your 300, you have eager, willing people ready to go. If people finish their 200 hours and then think, I want to set up a yoga class, then they have to learn everything from then. And it's probably going to be a good few months before they actually start to show up on people's Instagram feeds or show up in people's emails, right? So you want to really, really start to weave this in now. And it's completely different information as well. So when it comes to yoga, I often think like, for example, history and philosophy. You can only watch so much of that before your brain just cannot compute anymore. There's so much information, right? So this is something that you are going to work through. You're going to find your superpower. Within those superpowers, you're going to feel really excited about it. And there'll be nuggets of information that you can implement into your business literally right away. So it's not something that you should think about in 6 months' time or 12 months' time. this is something that will enhance your whole life right now. So some of the videos are 7 minutes. There's where we talk about finances and talk about tax and how to lay out your books and HMRC and all the things that I do not like, which is why I've brought in he's actually a tax consultant. So he accountants ask him questions. So he's like high up there. Like I brought in the best person to help with that, because I'm not even allowed a bank card. Like it's that bad. So yeah, we talk about that. We break that down. Those are the longer videos. But it's actually quite fun. There's a conversation with me and Peter, and it's a lot of fun. Like what we're talking about, it's not like boring. Like I'm not yawning. Like even I'm engaged in that, and I don't really do numbers. So like I say, all these things are things that you need to implement literally right away to save yourself time, energy, and money in the long run.
Yeah, I'm very much winging it.
Aren't we all? We're all doing that in life.
I've learned a lot, because I suppose really I've been doing this properly since September, I would say. So yeah, I've already learned a lot, but it's not like yeah, I just every day I'm like, oh, I should really know a bit more about that, or like there's just things that I've made more confidence in, maybe.
Yeah. So if we can nail those things and then work on streamlining them, so you're working smarter, not harder, putting all these workflows in, these systems will work for you, so that you don't have to keep thinking about, oh, I should have sent an email at 3:02 because that's when Flowdesk suggested that was the best time to send it. You know what I mean? You don't have to think about that. Once we get the strategy in place and we have all the systems working for us, then that will free up more time for us to live life.
Marvelous. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your question. That's a great question. Thank you.
Oh, gosh,
okay. Any other questions, anybody?
As a rough estimate, how long do you think it takes to complete the course? I mean, you could sometimes say a year for the 200, for example.
Yeah, so that's a hefty one.
Is like a overall generic estimate.
There are things. Yeah, that makes sense. So there are things to watch. There are things that I explain. There's also worksheets where you have to do the work to make it specific for your business, right? So that's very difficult. I don't know how long that's going to take you to go through those worksheets and work through that. But I would maybe say 30 hours to get through, something like that. Yeah. This course is all open as well. It's not like the 200 hours where you have to work through a section and you can't move on until the next one is done. This is open and free for you to dip into the different parts, right? So if we're working through SWOT analysis and MVP to start off with, but you really just want to start to grow your email list, you might then just kind of want to keep switching and implement different things into your business at the right time for you. Because like I say, each business will be unique to that individual, right? So we're not all at the same point. It's not like yoga where you have to learn this part, then you add this bit, then you add this bit. It's not really like that when it comes to business. So yeah, something around 30 hours, I would say. And then obviously working through your worksheets as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Any other questions?
So I'm guessing there's no kind of assignments or actual homework that's submitted as such, is there, in this course? So it's a slightly different format. If you're thinking about the process of how we studied 200, 300 hour, there isn't a homework marking department in it at all. It's your own self